Can you hear me? Okay, great. Let's start.
Hello, my name is Barzanian. I'm happy and honored to welcome each of you.
Hello, my name is Barzanian. I am happy and honored to welcome each of you to this special and exciting event. Over the past 40 years, I have worked for well-known American organizations such as world-recognized institutions UC Berkeley University, Stanford University, and Northwest among in Silicon Valley and the San Francisco Bay Area. I have diverse background in various both academics and industries. As an book specialist and content editor, I have worked over 10 years for ProQuest. And today I'd like to talk about the impact of e-learning, e-documenting books in our education, including medical science. Why e-books are preferable and the best alternative to physical books.
Okay, very good. So that was a little bit of history of me, but I do have actually a video of my biography that if you have time at the end, I will show you. It's 5 minutes video, and you get more familiar with my background. I have been having really kind of diverse background in different area, and my latest job was more kind of in science and ebooks for Stanford University and ProQuest. And I'll tell you in a minute, why ebooks are really important. As you know, ebooks are more like a kind of tool for education. The better tool we have in everything, we can do our jobs much better and faster. And that's what we are talking about ebooks. As sometimes, let's say if there is a technical people, or if there is a handyman, if they have a power drill, they can dig a hole faster than if there is a manual drill. So the same is for traditional books and ebooks. And we'll go as we go along and we talk about that.
Were you still learning from this book?
Can they hear it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, the volume is up, but I don't know why. It translates you to any other languages that you want. Then, let's say, on the regular books, when you take it, if you don't have your glasses, you are got stuck. But for ebooks, you can actually resize the type and you can read them. So that's one of the advantages that there are in ebooks. You don't need glasses, you can always adjust them and still read them. Speech to text. And that was actually the first part that I was presenting, that I was reading. It would actually turn into text, and then it can translate them. Like for example, for some cases like your country or you can actually always say it in English and it would translate into your own language and you can understand it better. Then this is the Google actually translation. As you see, that one was read in English and then it was translated to Japanese. Text to speech, which actually it is very useful of the ebooks. And that means, let's say you are reading something and you get tired of that. You can actually select it and ask for text to speech to read it for you. So that is one of the useful things, or you can actually turn them to audiobooks. And as you saw at the beginning, the text to speech is getting very accurate to human voice. It is so close that it is really excellent quality, and you can actually use them for blind people. I mean, at this moment, like one of the jobs that I was doing for Stanford, using all their textbooks for them to learn, and that was actually, we would scan them and then turn them to OCR and then turn them to text, and then we would use actually the text-to-speech to translate them and make it readable, all the textbooks for blind people. So that's one of the advantages that they have. This is another sample of the text-to-speech. But anyway, you heard them at the beginning that how it works, so it can actually read the text for you and can hear it. That's the text receipt. The other advantage of ebooks is if you have ebooks on, let's say you want to go to the beach, you have 1 or 2 books, that's all. Whereas actually you can put thousands of library books in USB and take them and read them while you are at the beach. And when you are tired, you can actually watch a video or whatever you want. So the advantage of ebooks, you can have thousands of them in flash drive, or you can have them on cloud. And not only that, you can actually hook up to digital library, to the world. Anytime you want to access to any books, you can have them. The other advantage is image quality. The old-fashioned paper books are in CMYK, means printed out of 4 colors. So how is it? You see, on this one, as you see, the ebooks are RGB, which actually they take more spectrum this side. RGB is the other side, which is multicolor. So you get a lot better quality on ebooks. When you have one book, let's say if your friend borrow and doesn't return, or if it's lost, it's lost. On ebooks, you can have a backup. You can have the same quality somewhere, so you will never ever lose them. Pricing. Well, you know that a printed book costs a lot of money. It's not that easy to actually print them, and it takes time. With ebooks, you can print, you can do your own publishing. So that's another advantage of, and it costs a lot lower. If you look at this chart from 1978, where I went to the United States, more than anything else, the education books are gone up quite a bit. Then the tuition, so the cost of books are really high for everybody. I mean, like for example, for 1 year education, as you see, it is quite a bit of money for 1 year, as well as the education, as well as the tuition. So, but ebooks cost a lot less. I mean, this is a comparison. For example, the first one, if you look at it, the ebook is $4.79, but the paper book is $7.99. So it costs a lot cheaper, particularly for a student that they really need to pay a lot of money for their textbook. The impact on our education. Definitely that is one of the significant on our education, because with the ebooks, you can actually connect to live, means live surgery. You can connect to any type of other things that it is go like interactive. And this is one of those interactive books that you will see. Oh, don't need the audio again.
For the past year and a half, my team at TikTok Press, Charlie Melchers and Multimedia, have been working on creating the first feature-length interactive book. It's called Our Choice, and the author is Al Gore. It's the sequel to An Inconvenient Truth, and it explores all the solutions that will solve the climate crisis. The book starts like this. This is the cover. As the globe spins, we can see our location, and we can open the book and swipe through the chapters to browse the book. Or we can scroll through the pages at the bottom. If we want to zoom into a page, you just open it up. And anything you see in the book, you can pick up with 2 fingers and lift off the page and open up. And if you want to go back and read the book again, you just fold it back up and put it back on the page. So this works the same way. You pick it up, you pop it open. So throughout the whole book, Al Gore will walk you through and explain the photos. This photo you can even see on an interactive map. Zoom into it and see really quickly. And throughout the book, there's over an hour of documentary footage and interactive animation. So you can look at this one. It starts playing immediately, and while it's playing, we can pinch and peek back at the page, and the movie keeps playing. Or we can zoom out to the table of contents, and the video keeps playing. But one of the coolest things in this book are the interactive infographics. This one shows the reach potential all around the United States. But instead of just showing us the information, we can take our finger and explore and see state by state exactly how much things are. We use these as geothermal energy. This is one. So just show you. When the wind is blowing, any excess energy coming from the windmill is diverted into the battery. And as the wind starts dying down, any excess energy will be diverted back into the house for light from the truck. And this whole book, it doesn't just run on the iPad. It also runs on the iPhone. And so you can start reading on your iPad in your living room and then pick up where you left off on the iPhone. I'll watch it back one way and pinch it in my page. Open it up. That's Pushpop Press's first title. I'll do it our choice. Thank you.
That's spectacular. Do you want to be a publisher, a technology licensor? What is the business here? Is this something that other people can do?
Yeah, we're building a tool that makes it really easy for publishers to build this content. So Melcher Media's team is on the East Coast, so we're on the West Coast building software. Takes us through every day, drags in images.
So you want to license this software to publishers to make books as beautiful as that?
Yeah.
Nice, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
So the ebooks is the future books for everybody because, as I said, it is more comprehensive. You can learn a lot better and faster. Now, when I was at ProQuest, I was actually in charge of technical work and editing for many actually those the best universities in the world like Harvard University, MIT. All these books would come and edit it, as well as the largest publisher. And one of them was Sevier. That
for over 125 years, physicians, nurses, students, and other health providers have relied on Elsevier for the most authoritative, cutting-edge medical content. Now the references you've always trusted and expert guidance you depend on are available in the innovative format you need to get the job done. Elsevier ebooks are here. Place an entire medical reference library in the palm of your hand.
Is it Lightroom?
With our ebooks, you can navigate through the table of contents and flip to your desired page
I don't know the stuff.
instantaneously. Look up the concept you're interested in and click through to preferred results. Add a bookmark to the text for easier future reference. Need to make a note or highlight a section? Simply tap your text and select. You can navigate back to review all your notes and bookmarks centralized in one place. Are you sharing a section of the ebook text with a colleague in a discussion? Easily increase the font size or zoom in on select images. Need a more in-depth look? As an added feature, our ebooks include access to a wealth of supplemental web content. through our popular expert consult and student consult platforms. Simply click through from the table of contents to activate your purchase and receive your complimentary access code. Streamline your workflow with Elsevier's ebooks. All your favorite content in one portable, quick, and easy access resource. Shop now. Your Elsevier ebooks are only a click away.
So we want to just kind of go briefly and find out really, overall as far as the ebook is. First of all, it is all bookmarks, so it's not like those that you can put a piece of paper and find out wherever you finished or you left it, then you can start from that one. So it's all bookmark, and also you can make your own note. You see, on traditional books, what you were doing, you were either highlighting or underlining, and these you can actually cut and paste it to your own book and make it your own summary book for test or whatever. So it is a lot easier than, let's say, if there is 1,000 pages, all you have to do is just cut the most important part to a notebook for yourself. And then it makes it easier to finish it. Also, you could actually put them in cloud and access them anywhere, anytime. You can do your own publishing, and most of all, it saves thousands, millions of trees because there is no paper involved, and it protects the environment. Is that going to actually ebooks take over the books? No. Why? The time that actually television came, people thought radio is going to be gone. No, it did not go. Everywhere has the same situation, pretty much like ebooks or radio. As we need radio in some occasion, we may need paper books. As some people, in fact, they like the smell of the paper. They like really to turn the page up and down, or whatever they want to do with it. On ebooks, you cannot do it, although they are trying to stimulate. When you turn the page, you can hear the turning page. But and also, I don't know, someday they may do also sometimes smells like a paper. But I don't know if I want to go for that to fool myself. So that's the conclusion that I can have. And thank you very much. I do want to mention that I will actually bring my contact number in case that you need. These are my contact number, anywhere that you need. And I also have my business cards that I only give it you. As I did mention, I did actually have a diverse background, and I will show you my biography video, which is about 5 minutes. I had about 49 profession and field that I did work in the past, and pretty much most of them, they were successful. Even those that they were as a hobby, it was used as a hobby, they were doing very well too. For example, I had a house that I bought 20 years ago, and I bought the worst actually fixer-upper house, and I told the agent, I can fix the house, but I cannot fix the area. And I fixed it, and it was in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and it was twice the award winning from the mayor. And mainly because the design that I did and the taste that I used, which you will see actually in the part of that in my biography. And then if you have, after that, any question, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. more than happy to answer you in any type of
You
field.
are so famous. I mean, you for the next election, you have to run against Trump.
Well,
Yeah, you can beat him. Look at the so many things at the same time. They're amazing.
the thing is, I was lucky really to be in somewhere that they actually make the talent to grow faster, and that's what it was all about really. And it was an extremely good opportunity for me to be in the United States 40 years ago, and that happened, as I said, at the beginning of the digital revolution, and I was lucky really to be there. I do appreciate your encouragement too.
Thank you. And so I mean, full of achievements. You know, I mean, what a life. You know, full blown. You know, I mean, the career. You know, it is just amazing. We really appreciate your letting us know all this, and we are really honored. And just one question. I'm sure this has been applied to medical fields and health fields, I think. Are there any applications?
Yeah, I mean, actually,
Currently?
this is, you mean as far as getting to continue your education or what?
Alex,
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. There's always, you know, that's something that I learned when I was in the United States. Nothing is late. You can always, I mean, that's something that, you know, I'm lucky that, in fact, I forgot to mention that I do, for now, it's about a year that I resigned from my job, and what I am doing, sharing my experience with people all over the world. And I am invited from different universities. I had about 8 conferences this year. 18. And I had so far 7 conferences at Stanford University. I had at Orion, and my next conference is in Rome, Italy. So I enjoy actually sharing my experience. And one of the things that I said always in my conferences, you have to be brave, never ever give up. That's what I did in my life, and that's where my success came. That nothing would intimidate me. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I would just go for it. And that's what I did it fine.
yeah, sure. Alex has some very good plans on the agenda for at the academy to do some educational community work and projects on the agenda, I think. So, I mean, some people, as you know, I mean, in Latin America, you have been to Latin American countries, I'm sure. Yeah. And some of the things would be just amazingly suitable, especially for mainstream public. You know, I mean, not all of them are highly educated, as you well know. So this would be amazingly not only attractive but very effective also. What would you?
Recommend?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I would say.
would it be practically
Yeah, you see,
feasible?
one of the important role that I have to help people is to help them to continue their education. That is extremely important, and thousands of people have been coming to me, so I learn how to guide them, how to go for whatever level of education you want to proceed. These are actually a kind of long process, you know, with interviewing 1 or 2 hours to make sure what field are they in, or what's their interest. It is important to know the interest and how they can proceed and get successful. So what I normally do, I arrange an hour of interview by those contact information that I said. I go through their background, their education, and then I help them, you know, how to proceed from there. So, I mean, more than happy, whenever you have time, call me, and I definitely help you like any other people.
I'll you know Andorra, it's a small country between Spain and France. so not far from here. Andorra, it's a very small, compact country. They are 90%, 95% of the people are villagers. I mean, peasants and without education or so. We did some community work, I think that's more than 15 years ago. 16 now. As a matter of fact, 17 years ago. That was 17 years ago. And so we did some work with published materials, in book form. And at that time, the internet and World Wide Web, www, was just becoming popular, and you could Google also. It was, as a matter of fact, that was the year, or the Google was just 1 year old or 2 years old or something. Google, I think it was 2 years old. Google was so popular and interesting, and also. So we gave the booklets and things to some villagers there, wonderful people, very respectable people, old people, and there were young ones as well. So we gave them the brochures and booklets with the pictures, and we thought that, at least, because of the colorful pages, they would be just looking at it. Probably most of them won't be able to read them, but there were grandchildren and children, they could read and for them. And well, old ones and little ones, they were just went on a few pages or so. They said, "Thank you, this is very nice," and then they just throw it away. They were not interested. Well, maybe, they didn't find it so practical to get something out of the books, pages.
Right.
And interestingly, and the laptops, the beginning of the laptops as well, we had a laptop, and so we were able to show in the whole group that there were only one laptop, because the laptop was extremely expensive, not everybody had it. So we just opened it, and we showed some related links and some pages. They just grabbed the laptop. they just, because you can hear and you can also see.
Right.
And so here's the difference, what a difference. They just pushed the booklets away, not because of the fact that they didn't want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They did want to learn, but it would be some extreme effort for them to go through it and get something out of it. But there, hearing and seeing is immediate. Audio and visual. So that was an interesting example. I could tell you now. That was some years ago, But now it is the IT world has been extremely progressed now. So in this kind of world, even some parts of your presentation here, now they are much more progress now than what you've shown now. Yeah, and so technically and digitally, you could do some of the things, as Alex knows well. He's the wizard on those things, and so what the difference to be now in today, if you just apply that kind of technicality to the real life, it would be amazing, really.
Yeah, as I said, sharing my experience with people is a joy for me, because I can actually make other people as successful as I have been in my life. I mean, this was a very, very short part of my life. I mean, if I would have had time, which I didn't have enough time today, maybe another time, I would show another part that you would be amazed what type of work I did in the United States, that it was just, boomed right away, and it did go to the whole world in terms of the advertising and the advertising display. In fact, I was shown through well-known TV in America and other area. So there are many things that I have done in my life, and as I said, this is the time to share it with other people. That is the important part, because there are people that they know a lot, but they hide it, they don't share it, and that's not really good. Where I am today is I am by people's help, and I achieved it because they helped me, and it's my turn to do that for other people.
Absolutely.
And I would be more than happy if you have any conferences in your country that I can attend, and I share the different area of the subject, because I have about 45 topics that I talk about, and it could be for different fields, as this one was more related to medical field, and it was related more what's going on with medical field, but there are other areas that I always talk, and I'll be happy. And if you are in Lincoln, unfortunately, I am to the last, I had to delete some people, mainly because we can have only 30,000 people, and I am already reaching to 30,000 people, so it still is time if you want to actually join my Lincoln, because it's going to be reaching to the maximum soon. And then my contact is there. I give you my business card. If you have any question, anytime, it is my pleasure actually to help all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I actually have one question.
Sure.
As Dr. Corindus mentioned, I am a member of the Education and Training Board at the World Academy of Medical Sciences. I am a digital strategist and the architect and engineer for the education platform that the Academy has. I took the liberty of offering certain, not only the platforms there to sustain the knowledge, both visual, audio, and in an interactive way that can also help grade in an automatic way and promote continued medical education, which is something that I treasure very, very much. To be able to exchange both knowledge and technology across these groups all over the world. One of the key factors that I've discovered, I noticed that you sort of bring up the ability to be able to learn by yourself. Mm-hmm. This is something that I guess it's both a gift and a problem at some points, because most people tend to rely on certain facts and certain way of doing things that don't necessarily promote thinking, being auto-critic, and having that drive to keep learning and learning and learning, because this is how we end up surviving. We end up understanding that there are several factors in our lives that we need to accommodate to in order for things to work. So I guess my question would be, how would you define e-learning and in a self-taught scenario for future generations, very much focused in the continued medical education sector, since there are so many interactive ways to not only get a glimpse of certain material, but also dive deeper into what the topic is all about. do you consider that, for instance, we were recently speaking about the legislative side of things. How would you, I guess, recommend? What would your recommendations be in terms of how both the traditional education system and the self-taught groups? I mean, what would be the key points to take into consideration when diving into e-learning, and what should we not do? For instance, when we are interacting, I mean, there are lots of topics there that in this era of information, there's so much information that you cannot really finish with all the information there. So there are lots of topics that are not necessarily true. It's just so much information that you just get lost there. So what would be the what's the word?
Basis?
Yeah.
Basis for
what are the where would you stand in the domains? I mean, you can learn through educational technology within these lines. What would be the starting point and the ending point for that?
Yeah, I understand what you say. One of the things that I did love about the United States is, unlike most country, some country like my own country, that they care about degree, they never care about degree. As you know, some really, well-known entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates didn't have any university degree.
Right.
And that means you can do it by yourself.
Right.
You can do it self-learning or self-taught. And some people actually, they can do better. And the other thing that I like to do over there is homeschool, because some people, like I myself, when I was a kid, I did not have a good focus in the class. I could learn it from home much better than in the class.
At your own pace.
Right. So I had a better opportunity over there to do it by myself. And most of these, actually what you saw here, is a self-taught or self-learning. And gladly, today, there is a huge opportunity for that, because at my time there was no internet. One of the most beautiful, really, advantages that we have today is the internet.
Sure.
When I was a kid, I wanted to learn painting, and nobody would teach me. I would go beg them. They said, no, if I teach you, you will become my competitor. So I'm not going to teach you. Today, you can actually go to internet. I want to learn watercolor. See how many things in YouTube is for you to learn watercolor. And it's so easy.
Sure.
You can learn actually very quickly and faster than those old days. So you have a lot of advantages, and I would say you go by anywhere that you can learn. It doesn't matter, you go e-learning or e-university or wherever you can. You can actually continue to do that anywhere that's easier for you, because, as I said, there are people that, like in my neighbor, there are a few kids that they are actually homeschool, because they were not really for school, and they were doing fine. So depending on your situation and your talent, you have to just evaluate yourself whether you are made for e-learning or go to the class. Some people, they learn better in the class, some people from e-learning or self-taught.
Of course. Because there's mixed
Right.
homeschooling as well, right? You can
Right.
learn both in the classroom and at home.
Exactly. See, the first conference that I had at Stanford at 2009, that was a year after the financial crash in the world, actually. And in my first conference, when I told them, this is the best time to buy. And some people, they left my seminar and they said, he's crazy. Everybody is leaving their house and he's saying buying that. 3 years after that, 2012, Here those people, and they have a lot of regrets. Why they didn't listen? They said, how did you know? I said, I did go through that in 40 years that I have in the United States 3 times. So I knew it is the time to buy, because those that they bought, they become millionaire. In 2012, they said, is it still too late? I said, no, still an opportunity. And there are people that they bought, and now they made fortune. A lot of money. So, I have a friend actually that has his own startup company and bought 2 houses near Silicon Valley. So far, in 4 years, he made $1.8 million out of those 2 houses. Where do you want to go and make that much money? It is nothing but learning and experience. And I did go through that for 32 years, following the economy and financial. And that is actually a part of my job, that wherever I go, I do trade stocks, even here. In 2 hours, the stock market is going to open, and it's going to open my business.
Do you have any establishment as a business?
No, as I said, my main job at this moment is helping others.
Helping others, yeah.
That is my main job at this moment. Nothing else, really. Those that I do, trading stocks, other thing is just a kind of hobby or side work.
Right. I agree.
But I learned it all by myself. Just spending time learning economy, monitoring the economy, what's going on. And I learned that, okay, I have gone 30 years through that and 3 times crashed. So I knew that there is a cycle. It would come sooner or later. And when it crashed, unlike people that they are running away, it is the best time to buy.
Exactly. It's a chance for opportunity.
Absolutely.
Are there any?
I hope I
other
did
questions?
answer your question.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.